Hi everyone, happy Monday. It's Regina Lena and welcome back to another episode of the Pageant Sit Down. I know some of you are here because we were going to have Maria, the CEO and International Director of Galaxy Pageants here with us today, but we have rescheduled her interview and that's okay. Everything is all right on her end. And I'm really excited because that just gave me an opportunity to interview another amazing queen. And I'm sure some of you are here waiting to see her. So I'm not going to keep you guys waiting. I would like to introduce all of you to the whoa, my goodness. What's your title? Of course, this will only happen with her on here too. International United Miss Canada 2020-2021, Elizabeth Marnoch. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here today.
I'm so sorry I butchered your title, but of course,
Oh,
of all people, it would be you. I am so sorry. This is what happens when we
okay.
talk every day, and I just,
All right.
you know. This
I
is what
got
happens when
it.
you're too comfortable. So, anyways, I talk to you every day, but our guests don't, and some of them might not know who you are. So, if you don't mind introducing yourself and telling them a little bit about you.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. My name's Elizabeth, like Regine mentioned. I've been in the pageant industry for about 10 years now. So that's kind of crazy to think about. But I've really been enjoying my pageant experience so far. I've been able to compete internationally a few times and nationally, and I've gotten to meet a lot of amazing people through it. As of right now, I'm currently your International United Miss Canada 2020 to 2021, which is a really cool opportunity. I know some of you may know that I was also the International United Miss Teen Canada the past previous year, but of course with the pandemic I wasn't able to go. So now I'm in the Miss division. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Well, you mentioned you are now in the Ms. division. How is this?
Yes.
So, I understand you've done so many teen pageants. This is your first Miss Division pageant. How does that feel for you?
I mean, I'd be lying to say if I wasn't a little bit nervous. But I have devoted a lot of my time to understanding the difference between the division, what would help me, my main goal with going in the Miss division is to not stand out as if I'm a fresh Miss. I want to be blending in with the Miss in terms of experience and level and wardrobe. And just like maturity level as well. Like I think that's a big part of it. So I've really been working on that and shaping my platform, think big shop small, to also kind of tailor to like the Miss style platform. So that's kind of what I've been doing, and just watching a lot of Miss pageants.
And I know you have because I call you a pageant stalker. So I know you've done your research. But a question that I got a few times actually was, why did you choose to compete at IUM? So you mentioned you did the teen division, now you're doing Miss. Why did you first do it as a teen and choose to come back?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. International United Miss is a pageant that is kind of new. We're having our 5th year anniversary this year, actually, with the international pageant, and it's a fabulous organization that really promotes community service, promotes sisterhood with the Sisters by Sash motto that we have, and it's all about community. I've really enjoyed, even without ever being at a competition, as I was an appointed title both years, I've gotten to know so many girls from the United States as well as around the world, and it's all about having great communication with the queens. I love that how they treat us, how they like really respect all their queens, from if you're competing in a state pageant, if you're a national winner, or if you are one of their international girls. They really treat you like queens, and I really appreciate that. And it makes not everyone can win a crown, right? So if you're going and you have a great experience and you're able to enjoy it and feel like a queen without actually winning the title, hopefully I do, but you can never guarantee that. That it makes it such a good experience and worth your time, worth your money, worth your energy, and that's what intrigued me about International United Miss.
Awesome. So you mentioned earlier that you were an appointed queen. For those who are new to
Yes.
pageants, what's the difference between an appointed queen and a title that you may have won? I guess I'm answering it for you. A title you may have
Yeah.
won at a national pageant.
Yeah, that's a great question. Appointed titles are basically when you go to a pageant and a spot is not currently filled, and you can take the title without having to compete against anybody. And the sash and the crown get shipped to you to your house, and you start your reign from the moment that postman brings you your little package. So some people see it as not the equivalent, which is fine. I understand I didn't compete for it and I didn't necessarily win this title, but no one else was claiming it, so I took it. And I think appointed titles are a great opportunity to explore a variety of pageants in the United States. A lot of systems appoint, even the really, really big systems, multi-division and scholarship style pageants, which are mostly the pageants that I would be interested in competing in. And IUM, of course, was one of them. And so when I saw that the Canada slot was open, I couldn't say no. So yeah.
Awesome. And I noticed that your title was a 2020-2021 title.
Yes.
Were you also supposed to be competing back in 2020 and got extended, or how did that work out for you?
So all the International United Miss titles just go through the years that you've had. So even before the pandemic, I got my teen title in September of 2019, and so before the pandemic, of course.
Yeah.
And so basically, it was going to be 2019 to 2020 regardless of the year. So they just allow you to have that number on it regardless of pandemic or postponement or whatever. It's always 2 years because you technically have it 2 years because the pageant's held in the summer. It's just the way that logistically it works out. So yeah.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier your platform. Can you talk a little bit about it in a deeper sense?
Yeah, for sure. So my platform is Think Big, Shop Small, and I myself am a small business owner. I own Marnoch Nails, and I'm also in the process of getting my makeup artistry license to become a professional makeup artist. So that will also be becoming a small business as well for me. And I've grown so much and learned so much through the experience of owning a business. I know, Regine, you've also had this experience throughout the pandemic, so you know what I'm talking about. But I've learned so much, and I wanted to encourage other women to do the same and to give them the tools and the resources to be successful within it. Because, of course, owning a small business and doing a startup and investing your own money can be really scary at the beginning. If you never know if it's going to hurt you or help you, and it's kind of a risk. And so what I've been doing weekly on Wednesday is highlighting a business, whether they have 20 followers on Instagram or a couple thousand. I think having visibility for women's small businesses is so important, so that people can just see their product, because no one's buying their product if you can't see it. So that's what I've been doing, and I've really been enjoying that. I've been able to connect with a bunch of people, not only across Canada, but across the United States, people I've never met, and I've just reached out to via DM. So it's been a cool experience, and I, on top of the weekly highlights, I have some special surprises coming up about to make the platform a little bit even more impactful and help out these small businesses even more. And so I look forward to sharing that in the upcoming future.
That's really exciting. And my small business was featured on your platform. So thank you for giving me that opportunity, and for all the other people that you've given this opportunity to as well. So if they wanted to check out the businesses that you have so far, where can they find it?
Yeah, so I've been posting all of my Think Big Shop Small content and weekly highlights, my IUM Canada Miss title page on Instagram. So you can go and check that out, and I have plenty of content on there. I'm also planning on posting not only the weekly content, but some statistics and some tips and tricks to go along with that. So if you're interested in starting a small business, feel free to reach out to me or just look at my page and get inspired.
That's awesome. So thank you for doing that, Liz. Elizabeth. I'm gonna call you Liz. Liz, because there's so many small businesses out there, especially that came from the pandemic. So having this way to find them and to reach out to you is just an amazing opportunity. Another question that I wanted to ask, talking about the pandemic, how has it been for you?
Oh, I mean, the pandemic has, in terms of pageant life, has impacted, I mean, not just me, but everyone in the pageant industry greatly this year. And it's hard because, of course, my pageant is based in the United States. So things were able to run there. Unfortunately, things were able to run without me and without the other international girls.
Oh no.
But that's okay. I was able um, to get to know the girls, and then also I had that connection with them via internet and FaceTime calls when I was a teen, and I was able to watch them compete live stream for something that I was supposed to be a part of. But it was really exciting to see them compete and to see them doing their best and really showing what they have to offer. And so it made me excited about having my chance, regardless if it was 2 years later or not. It gets you kind of amped up, and I think that's really important. You have to keep that motivation and that excitement alive to continue in the pageant. And I'm very hopeful that I'll be able to compete this July in New Jersey. And staying positive, it's hard to stay positive because there's new restrictions every day, and there's new challenges with the pandemic, and you have to take that into consideration. But at the end of the day, you have to just stay focused on what the main goal is. And of course, my goal is being International United Miss. So,
well, yes, we're all cheering for you here in Canada.
Thank you.
No problem. A question that has come up from the chats is actually from Alexis, our Junior Miss Galaxy North America 2020-21.
Hello.
She's asking, what are you looking forward to most at internationals?
That's such a good question. Internationals is really cool at IUM, and it's definitely something that I would advise a lot of our Canadians to go check out. It's a really cool opportunity, but I think something that I'm really looking forward to is all the speech components that is involved with IUM. For me, interview, speaking, and that style of the competition has been my strength over past years in terms of my feedback from scoring, and it's just something where I feel most comfortable in. So actually at IUM we do an intro, which is a speech that we do, and then we go straight into interview from there. And actually all of our interview questions, well, for the most part, are from our intro. So what we say, what we want to highlight, and what we want to talk about, we have to explain it in our interview. In our intro for our interview. There's also a bunch of optional competitions. So I'm actually signed up to participate in the spokesmodel competition, where it's basically another speech, but it's more highlighted and centered around your platform, your advocacy, and what you want to promote if you were the winner or just in general as a title holder. So I've been a busy bee, writing a bunch of stuff, practicing speeches on top of wardrobe, walking, all the other stuff that you would do. So I think that's a cool opportunity. It's unique. It's something that I have yet to do. So I'm looking forward to that.
So you mentioned platform. What is your platform?
So my platform is Think Big Shop Small. So I really wanted to promote that. And on top of that, of course, our pageant IUM has their own national platform as well, and their mottos of Sisters by Sash and the Be Heroic motto, and it's all about just being inclusive, being community based and supporting one another, and I love that. I know I've gotten so much support through pageant sisters, like you, Regine, and other girls. I know lots are in the chat, so thank you for joining. And so I really responded with that message and having the sisterhood within pageantry. So I will be promoting both platforms, I guess, when I get to internationals and hopefully after.
That's so exciting. You're right, Liz. When it comes to the sisterhood, I've actually known you since 2019, and apparently you've been following me since even before that. So the sisterhood is real when it comes to pageants. And like you said, we have a bunch of them on here. Have you been able to connect with the other girls as well from IUM?
Yeah, so we all follow each other on Instagram. We like each other's comments and post, and we're being interactive. I know a lot of girls have been doing live streams. I know in 2019, like earlier on in the pandemic. I had my Live with Liz podcast where I was also promoting that Sisters by Sash motto and goal by bringing on a bunch of different pageant titles, kind of like what you're doing here. Of course, they're just a little bit more professional than mine, but yeah, I was just trying to embrace that, and I know a lot of other girls are doing the same. So I look forward to connecting with them even more, hopefully in person, but if not, virtually is also great.
Hmm. Are you looking at bringing Live with Liz back now that we're still in lockdown?
It's possible. It's definitely possible. I've definitely toyed with the idea. I would be lying if I said that I wasn't busy. I'm a second year university student. I own a small business. It's a pandemic. There's a lot going on, of course. So I would definitely consider doing that, though, for sure.
Mm. So you just said it yourself. You're a student, you're preparing for a pageant, you're a small business owner, but you're also doing makeup school. How do you have time for all of it?
I don't know. It's a great question. I am a person that sets goals for myself daily. So I wake up and, whatever time I wake up, I like to sleep in. But I like to have a certain amount of things done by the end of the day, whatever it may be, whether it's painting a nail set, whether it's doing a post on my pageant account, whether it's working on my speech. There's always something to be done, and I don't really like to let a day go by without doing at least something. And so I think that's how I've been able to manage it. I of course have to stay focused and organized with all these ventures that I'm going around. I really want to make them all successful in their own way. So I have to dedicate the time to it. And with the pandemic, I've actually been able to have more time, less time going out with my friends, even though I miss them dearly. I've been able to really focus on myself this year and to take matters into my own hands and start things that maybe I wouldn't have started before. So of course, COVID's not a good thing, but I've been able to spin it and make some positivity out of it.
Well, you started 2 businesses out of it.
I know, it just came out of nowhere. I've always loved having businesses. Like even as a kid, like I was obsessed with reptiles as a kid, and I had a whole bunch, and I wanted to make like a reptile business, and I called it like Liz's Lovely Leos, and all these like crazy like shampoo businesses, and I don't know, it was just always something that I was interested in, and I thought it was fun and a way to like take up time, I guess. And so now that I'm actually old enough and have the resources to actually accomplish it, I thought, why not? Let's do it now. So yeah, that's why I did it.
So if you had shampoo, would you have named it Luscious Locks by Liz?
Oh, it was something. Oh, I wish I remembered. It was. Oh, you know what it was called? I called it Liz Biz with I-B-I-Z. So it was pretty good.
You could still do it with all the different companies that you're creating. Just put it under one umbrella.
Just throw it in. Just throw it in. Why not?
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Don't steal it, please.
Breaking news.
Well, you've been in pageants for a very long time. How many pageants do you think you've done altogether so far?
I've received this question before, and I think I overestimated last time I answered it. And then I went back and actually like counted, and I'm at around like 19, 20 pageants. So
how old were you when you started?
I was 10. So I did the Miss All Canadian system, if you know about that one. And so you would do multiple of those a year. Mm-hmm. So I would do like 3 or 4 of those a year. And then when I was 15, I competed in the Pure International pageant. So I competed at the Canada Prelim. That was hosted in Michigan, but it was the Canada Prelim. And then the International pageant in Orlando. And then after that, I went to Captivating Pageants in Columbus, Ohio, which was a fabulous experience. And I would really recommend doing that one. Of course, went to good old Canada Galaxy and got Miss Teen Galaxy Canada, which forever changed my life. And I'm here. So I've had a lot of cool experiences, a lot of travel, a lot of varieties of pageants. I think I have a good scope of like different kinds of interviews, different kinds of pageant walks, and different kinds of systems. So that's been really good and really educational for me. And yeah, I've had a really cool pageant career. It's taught me a lot, of course.
That's amazing. That's a lot of pageants for such a short period of time. But like you said, you've learned so much from it. You've learned different walks, different styles of interviews, and you see it in how you perform on stage. I've luckily been able to see you perform at Galaxy Canada and watch internationals. So I'm really excited to see how you do moving forward in your career. But my one question is, what is your dream pageant to compete in?
My dream pageant is International Junior Miss. It's been on my list for a really, really long time. It's a pretty big pageant, and actually it's now just been purchased by National American Miss, if you know that one. So now it's like a really, really big pageant powerhouse, they're calling it. So of course I'm staying true to my one pageant at a time, and I really like to stay focused, but I could see myself there in the near future. And I obviously would love to do that. So that's my dream pageant. If not Miss Universe Canada, but we'll see.
So I noticed a lot of the pageants that you mentioned, they're all based in the States.
Yeah.
So do you do a lot more appointed titled pageants?
Yes. Actually, Canada Galaxy 2019 was the first time I ever competed in Canada other than the Miss All Canadian pageants I did when I was a child. Otherwise, I'd been all, well, Pure wasn't technically appointed, but yeah, it could have been an appointed title, and it was US based, and it was scholarship style pageantry. That's what I love. I love that kind of pageant, and I love the pageant girls that are a part of it as well. I've met a lot of girls from the United States that have become really close friends of mine. Actually, Sarah Thornton, I met at one of my appearances in Detroit. They were in Michigan, and we connected. And she actually won the International United Miss title back in 2019. And she really encouraged me to do IUM, and it's been really cool to meet a bunch of people from there, and to get to know the American systems. There's a lot of American international systems that I would encourage a lot of the Canadians to go and look at. Basically anything with the word international in it means you can go.
Perfect.
Check it out, and that's what I've always done, and it's given me really cool opportunities and really, really great experiences. I haven't won any of the international titles.
Not yet.
But not yet. Yeah. Hopefully, but they've taught me so much. If you saw my first video at an international U.S. pageant, you would laugh.
No.
So it's just like so much growth, and I feel like they've taught me a lot, being able to go to those really high level pageants consistently over the past couple of years. So I really appreciate having the appointed title and the U.S. option.
That's amazing. I've been in pageants for 10 years, but there's so much more that I haven't learned about the pageant world. And I feel like every day there's a new pageant that you mentioned to me. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I know. The pageant stalker strikes again. She finds another pageant. She finds another person to go look at.
There you go. I feel like you knew a lot more about me than I did you, but I think it's getting equal now. I'm starting to learn a lot more about you. For those who actually don't know, Liz has actually been helping me set up Pageant Sit Down. She's been my go-to for the calls to test everything. So to have you on, Liz, I'm so happy to have you finally as a guest.
I'm so excited. I'm not in pajamas this time. That's all I can say.
Yes, because every time we've both been non-glammed, that's for sure.
Right.
In the chats, actually, Cindy with an S just wrote, or maybe not just, she wrote, changed her life. Y'all heard that. She's talking about Galaxy Canada, of course.
Yes, I will give some promotion, of course. No, I really Canada Galaxy, and I've actually had an incredible opportunity to become the delegate coordinator. So I've been able to chat with all the delegates and give my advice or assist them with appearances and just little administrative stuff. So that's been a really cool opportunity to also be on the other side of pageants, so more of like the staff side. So that's also been really educational in terms of like me preparing to see like both sides of the competition. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing that as well this year.
That's amazing. And you did mention you were able to give the delegates tips. So for those who are watching, it's that time. Liz, what are your 5 tips that you would give any pageant hopeful?
Oh, okay. Definitely say number 1, pick a system and that you really respond with. You need to search high and low, do all your research, do your due diligence of checking out the pageant, check out the previous queens, and make sure that you yourself as of like right now would fit into that brand perfectly. That's really important. Number 2 kind of resembles number 1, but don't change yourself to fit a pageant title. Make sure that you are being 100% authentically yourself. You'll hear it a million times before going into a pageant, but I truly mean it. It will not only help you win, it will also help you have a more authentic experience and a better time. 3, I would say budget. Invest your money wisely. I know pageants can be very expensive, and I know I've financed my pageants pretty much on my own, with some help here and there, but it's been mostly me. And what I found is you need, sometimes a competitive wardrobe, whether that competitive wardrobe is a $200 gown or a $5,000 gown. There's ways to thrift shop, do resale, make sure that you're spending your money where you have to and not overspending in things that are not as important for the competition. Number 4, I would say do a lot of interview prep. I am the biggest interview advocate ever. I think pageant interviews is where you win the pageant, regardless of what system you're in, because that's how the judges made the connection with you. And whether you bomb on stage, they might be like, oh yeah, but she had that great answer and she had that warm energy. That can really help you. So make sure that you're practicing not only what you want to say, make sure that you're practicing being authentic and that you're sounding like you're in a conversation with somebody. You want to be, talking like, so you're talking with someone like in a coffee shop. That's really realistically what you want to be trying to achieve. And number 5, sorry, what did I say? I don't know. You know what? Number 5, I would say don't doubt yourself in terms of your appearance, your background, where you're from, anything. You can do it no matter what your height is as well. I know I had fears going into pageantry with, I'm not a size 0. I'm a very tall lady at 5'11", so, some people see that as a strength. But I was also kind of intimidated by that because I was always a little self-conscious with my height growing up. And I didn't know if that was going to help me or hinder me in the competition. So just really be okay with yourself, be proud of what you look like, who you are, where you're from. And that will take you a really long way because it will shine on stage, in interview, and just throughout the week when you're roaming around the hotel. And you don't understand how much that could help you. So those are my tips. They're a little bit long-winded. I apologize, but yes.
That's okay. They're great tips. And I'm sure everyone who's watching or will watch later on learned something about it. I learned that you're 5'11".
I am 5'11". I'm a very tall lady, and I like to wear the tippy top shoes. So I'm a staggering 6'4", 6'5" when I compete. So it's kind of scary, but
I mean, yeah. Like you said, as long as you embrace yourself, love yourself, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
What I do love about you, Liz, is you actually started competing with your sister, who's actually watching, Katie. She's now joined the monarchy on stage. How was that, having your sister compete at Galaxy and you watching her?
That was so stressful. Because, okay, so Katie has always been a really supportive person in my life with everything I've done, with all my strange ventures that I have taken up throughout my life. And so pageants was, no exception. She would be helping me and was always behind the scenes. And, when I forgot my shoes at Canada Galaxy 2019, she was the one who ran to the mall and bought me some, and all these little things. And so I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to be that support for her in return, because I was not anticipating that she would join the pageant. She loved the 2019 pageant so much, and she thought it was so fantastic and the way that it was run and how fun it seemed. And so she wanted to take a stab at it, and I was really, really proud of her. And it's been a really cool experience because now we get to prepare together, and we get to spend even more time together, looking at wardrobe, helping each other out. Of course, I'm not coaching her, because I'm just giving her sisterly advice in terms of pageants. But it's been a really cool opportunity to do it together. Regardless, we haven't competed in the same system, and we will never compete in the same system at the same time. I will not allow it. But yeah, of course I'll be cheering her on, just like I'll be cheering on all the other girls. But it's a really special and exciting moment for me. Like, I feel like I'm a stage mom on the side of the stage, just like shaking. Like, I was more nervous when she was competing than I was, frankly.
Oh my gosh.
So it's a cool opportunity, though. Yeah,
well,
I love it.
You're now both in the same division, so it's good that you put it out there that you will not be doing the same one. So Katie, you gotta wait until she's done.
I will not. I will not compete against her. I don't think she'd want to compete against me either. Like, we need at least one of us with like a level head for a competition.
No, that's
one of us to balance it out.
That's fair. One of you has to run to the mall just in case someone, aka you, forget your shoes.
Yeah. It happens. So yeah.
That's amazing. Sometimes I wish I had a sister, and then you mentioned how you become a stage mom, but like in a sisterly way. I'm like, I do that on a daily basis to my brothers. I know.
It's kind of fun, but it's a different kind of stress. Like, of course, we all know the pageant stress, and I've experienced it countless times. But Katie, I've never experienced what Katie has gone through, and I don't particularly enjoy it. But we'll continue to do it if she wants to continue in pageants.
Well, she also mentioned you grab her some Advil, and I know what she's talking about.
Yeah. Yes. And we all know.
And another comment in the chat is actually from Cindy again, and she mentioned it earlier. She says, I always feel so tiny next to Elizabeth. Don't we all?
It's so funny. Like, when I won 2019, all I can remember is my crowning moments, like Cindy saying, bend down, lower. And I was like basically like squatting at that point, and I was like holding on for dear life with my shoes. I'm just like, please don't fall during a crowning moment. That's what I was thinking of. And then in my farewell, I like had to bend down to go even like give her a hug, and she's just so funny. I love our little height difference. It adds a little bit of spice to the friendship.
There you go. Your sister actually says, yes, being in the audience is also very stressful. So she now she gets to see what it's like on and off stage.
Yeah, she's a person of like, she knows the pageant opening number because she'll see me do it 5 minutes. So she'll be like in the audience, like, go 1, 2, 3, and then she'll be clapping along with music, like keeping people on time, and then like she'll clap so loudly for every single contestant. Like, it's crazy. Just so loud, aggressively, like the same she would do for me. So she's a crazy audience member, but she definitely livens up the place, just like Team Regine livened up the place.
Yes.
In 2019, they were really bringing the party.
Just 2019 though.
Well,
I wish I could bring them with me to internationals, and I hope that you can bring the monarchy with you. I love how we both have our own little groups.
Yeah, because we both had the t-shirts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was fantastic. We are branded teams, and
exactly.
I love that.
And you guys can't touch them because they've now intertwined to become the same team.
Exactly. Too bad.
Yes. Well, Elizabeth, I'm so excited for all of your adventures, and I'm sure your sisters as well. You have your makeup line, or not makeup line, your makeup school going. You have your nails going. Where can people find, because I know they're on social media, where can people find them if they're interested in booking you for makeup or buying some press-on nails?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So my makeup, I'm just finishing up my final course of certification. And then I will start booking from there after I'm like certified. Mm-hmm. But for now, you can follow me at Elizabeth Marnoch Artistry on Instagram. And for the nails, if you're interested in getting some cool press-on nails, custom or the ones that are currently on my page, you can find that on Instagram as well, Marnochy Nails. And also on Etsy. That's where we sell them on. So, always feel free to message me. I have like 9 billion social media accounts, so I can like refer you to wherever you need to get to be.
Sounds good. So what I'll do is right now I have your IUM page on the description. So after the show, I will put all of that there for you guys to follow her.
Thank you.
No worries. I was actually thinking of this question earlier and it slipped my mind, but you've done so many pageants. You've met so many pageant sisters. What would you say is your most memorable pageant experience?
My most memorable pageant experience. I would have to say it was at my first international pageant. I was very deer in the headlights. I thought I was very prepared with my preparation. I thought I was very good to go. I was not. And I was doing my my preparation just for the prelim competition, and I didn't realize how much time you needed to get like not only physically ready but like mentally ready to go on stage. And all I can remember, and my sister will bring it up 9 billion times, is that I would watch Gossip Girl, because on US Netflix they had Gossip Girl there, and I was in the States, so I was really taking my time watching that. I would leave about 30 minutes before I had to be on stage to be like, oh, let's turn off the episode and then let's get ready. Disaster. Don't recommend doing that. Definitely prepare for several hours prior to getting on stage. So that always brings me back, just like how much I've grown, and it's such a memorable moment. I'm just like chilling in bed, like before an international pageant. I'm trying to represent Canada and do all this stuff, and I thought I was so prepared. But you know, you learn, you live and you learn, and don't watch Gossip Girl before a pageant.
No. Their cattiness might rub off on you, and then you'll go on stage and they'll be like, I thought she was Canadian.
Be a big problem.
And you also mentioned that you have been following pageants, and I joke around and call you the pageant stalker, but who is your, I guess, who is your pageant idol or one of your favorite beauty queens of all times?
Yeah, so in terms of multi-division and scholarship pageants, which is like something that I'm really invested in, Michaela Belgis is a fabulous title holder. She's actually been the title holder for IJM, NAM, RIM, all the big title pageants in the States, and she's a coach as well, and she's just a really, really great person. She really shares all of her tips and tricks, and has helped a lot of people within the scholarship and multi-division level pageants. And I really am inspired by her and her growth from when she was like a kid all the way up to now. And yeah, so she's definitely someone. And then in terms of like the Grand Slam pageants, I would definitely say Nia Sanchez is someone that I've followed for a really long time and I really looked up to. She stayed within the pageant community, and she's really stayed invested in people's pageant careers. I know she coached with Angel Patel and a couple other people as well. So it's cool. I like to see when Grand Slam people continue in pageantry and stay connected with the circuit, because I know there's other ventures for them that they could potentially pursue, and they do usually. But I really respect Nia Sanchez, and I think she's a really great motivation.
Well, do you follow her on YouTube? Like, I love watching all of her content. It's very inspiring.
It's fabulous. It's very inspiring and it gives you kind of like a nice behind the scenes, and it makes you feel like, okay, well, she's a real person, like she's Nia Sanchez, Miss USA, fabulous first runner-up of Miss Universe, but she's still a person, and you can do it too if she can. So I really love that.
Exactly. And you did mention that, she coaches and stuff. Have you ever had a pageant coach?
No, for my first international pageant, like I mentioned before, I had a pageant weekend with I was connected with the Team Michigan team, and we actually had a really fun girls weekend that we went and hung out with, and we got in-person coaching by Katie Maskey, who is a modeling and pageant coach in Ohio. And so that was the only time I just did a group session, walking session with Team Michigan, and that was it. Otherwise, I've learned through watching, through mostly experiencing and learning from myself, because as much as I totally respect and value judges' opinions, there's always going to be a different judge, and there's always going to be a different opinion. And sometimes you'll get a 10 out of 10 and a 4 out of 10 for the same performance, just different judges. And so I'm able to see with a critical eye what I need to fix and what I think needs to be changed. Of course, I see the value in coaches, and I've really considered looking into coaching in the future. But as of right now, I haven't really consistently used a coach.
No, and you said it yourself. You've been able to kind of teach yourself and take your own criticism and change it, which is great, because I've seen you compete and I was like, oh, she must have had a coach. But I guess with all these years of experience, you really don't need one.
Yeah, it's been cool, especially with going to the US pageant systems, like you mentioned. Like, it's such a high level of pageantry. It's couture gowns for opening number. It's incredible walks. It's it's these people who are so polished and so put together, and once you're around them and once you compete with them, it can't help but rub off on you. And that's why I've really enjoyed doing those experiences and having those connections with those high level girls, because even just having that in front of your face every day of these girls doing incredible performances and having amazing wardrobe and being so active with their platform, it inspires you and pushes you and kind of gives you that little kick in the butt that you need to step it up as well. And that's mostly how I've learned, and I still have a long way to go. Like, I'm far from pageant polished, so I look forward to growing every pageant season.
That's really exciting, and a great goal for you to have is to just keep working on yourself. One question I did want to ask you is, what got you started in pageants? Because you started while you were still young.
Yeah, honestly, I've been asked this question before, and I don't really know. I mean, I watched Toddlers and Tiaras as a child, and I was a very excited kid. I loved running around. I liked being the center of attention. And so, of course, I liked that show. And so I was just messing around one day on my computer, like I do, finding different hobbies. I've done some strange activities in my life, and I just find it on the internet. But I found the Miss All Canadian website after searching like Canada pageants, and I was like, this is it. Like, this is something that I feel like I would excel at, and it would take all my craziness and all my extrovertedness and kind of focus it to something more meaningful and actually something more beneficial to me. And that's what got me started. And since then, I have not been able to stop. It's been something that I've been really passionate about for a really long time. I've had things in my life like fencing and baseball and all these things that I used to do that came in and out of my life. With like age, I got less interested, but pageants have been that one consistent thing that has been very important for me to continue, because I've just seen so much growth within myself in terms of like my maturity level, who I am as a person, how I view myself and the world around me has significantly changed just because of pageantry. And so I think it's as much of an investment in my future as like going to university. I understand it's different, but I'm investing in my future, and that's why I love pageants so much. And that's kind of why I got started, because I saw the potential, and I saw the opportunity for it to become a valuable lesson for me.
That's amazing. Yeah. It's crazy how things like that, you just find it and it just sparks your interest, becomes this whole life journey for you.
You never know.
Exactly.
I never say no to anything. Like, I've tried so many different hobbies and so many different things, and in each one of them, regardless of how long I did them, they've all taught me various lessons. So I never say no to anything.
So then what is the most unique thing that you have done that we all don't, except for your sister, know about?
Oh no.
Because you said fencing, first of all. That threw me off.
Fencing, unfortunately, is not even the weirdest one. I had so many I was so obsessed with like reptiles, like I mentioned before, and that became like part of my personality at one point. I was so obsessed. But
we miss Frizzle?
Basically.
Okay.
I don't even want to admit this, but I will, because it's funny. I did reborning as a hobby. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's basically where you make dolls, where you like paint. It's like kind of like painting, but you make like real life looking dolls. They're terrifying, and I don't enjoy them anymore, and I don't know why I enjoyed it at the time. But that was definitely one of my like phases, I guess you could say, of like hobbies.
How old were you?
Oh, I was like maybe 13, 14. Like, I was old enough to know that it was a little off, but yeah, it was fun. Like, I love doing stuff like that, like fencing. I did horseback riding for a while. I love trying new things. I love trying things that most people don't do, because I love going to school. I love talking to people. I'm like, this is what I do. I do pageants, and you don't know anything about it, but I'm excited to teach you about it. And that's kind of been the story of my life with everything that I've done. So if it's unique, I've probably given it a shot.
Is there something on your bucket list that you haven't been able to try yet that you want to?
I've always wanted to do musical theater, but I'm a terrible singer, and I'm not a really good dancer, so I don't think it would go well. But I feel like my personality and like would do well in it, and I feel like I would really enjoy that. But I think it takes a certain skill level that maybe, you know, in the future I might be able to learn, but not right now. But musical theater is definitely something that I would love to try later on in life.
Oh my gosh, Broadway, here she comes.
Yeah, why not? Dream big.
There you go. That's exciting. I was actually thinking when you're talking about painting your dolls, maybe that's where your makeup came from, like your love of and passion for makeup came from.
Yeah,
It's really interesting.
I've always loved makeup. Like from the age of like 12, I wore it pretty much every day. And it's something that I've always loved, and I've loved transforming people and, you know, not making them prettier, but just making them like feel super confident, super good. I know that's what makes me feel. And so taking the makeup course has also been really cool. I've been doing assignments and then getting live video feedback from my teachers, and they've been telling me, you know, redo this, blend this, and like really learning the skills. And I'm really excited to hopefully translate that into pageant makeup. And, you know, that's my ultimate goal, is to travel around the country and hopefully internationally and do pageant makeup, because I would love nothing more to combine like these really two big passions of mine, and help the pageant girls out, because I know what the pageant look is. I know what people want, and it's just a matter of delivering it. So I'm right now in the process of learning like the skills, the techniques, different skin tones, and different things that are more like theory based, so that I can be, you know, the best makeup artist I can be.
That's amazing. Well, best of luck to you. I can't wait for you to do your work on me one day when this pandemic is over. So Stephanie is actually in the chats, and she said, "You are very polished, Liz." Winking face. Ooh. You are so comfortable in interviews, and it's inspiring to see.
Oh, you know what? And Stephanie's a really great example as well of someone who is making her platform, making it known, and really sharing her message with like the representation videos that she's been doing. It's really cool, and it's been really fun. Like, she's been one of the people that I've been really excited to follow throughout, you know, being delegate coordinator, of course, all of the girls. But yeah, this year for Canada Galaxy is very inspiring, and you know, it's going to be a hard year competition. Regine's not going to want to give up that crown, but it's going to be going to someone good. I know it, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I was talking to Alexis, Ms. Galaxy Surrey, and she was telling me how they all have this group chat. And for me, I think about all of the girls that are competing in this division, and like you said, I'm so glad I'm not competing, because it's growing so much from our first year together in 2019 to what it is now. It's intense.
Yeah. It is intense. I'd be very worried. I mean, not worried, but I would be like, this is going to be a really good competition, and you know, you're going to get someone amazing to go hit that international stage and compete for Canada. I know I had the amazing experience of being able to go to Orlando and compete internationally, and I cannot wait to see the current queens go and experience that as well, because it's definitely an unforgettable journey.
I'm excited, and I'm excited for you to go to New Jersey. Hopefully things open up so that we can both make our way down south and represent Canada the best way we can.
Fingers crossed, right? Yeah, yes. I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm putting all the positive energy out in the world right now to make sure that our pageant gals can hit the stage, because that's something we've been missing.
We definitely have been. And IUM, so for competition, you mentioned that there's a speech component. Do they also do swimwear, evening gown, fashion, talent? What's the components of it?
So our mandatory components is our intro, our interview, our high fashion runway, and our evening gown. And so those are all the competitions we have. And then IUM also offers a variety of optional competitions, like talent you mentioned, spokesmodel where I'll be competing, casual wear, and a variety of other competitions. So there's something really for everybody, but the core competitions are really like just trying to find that girl that has the poise in interview, the sass and the fun and personality and the high fashion runway, and then of course, you know, knows that they can do the job in interview. So I'm looking forward to it. I've really been preparing heavily for now almost 2 years for these competitions. So I'm hoping that I can perform the way that I've been preparing.
And I'm sure you will.
Thank you.
No worries. What do you mean by optional categories?
Yes. So, in a lot of multi-vision pageants, they have this where it is a completely separate component in the pageant where you can compete in spokesmodel, you can compete in casual wear, and these just little extra competitions. A lot of people like to enter them. There's a cost to them to be an optional, so you can opt to do it or to not. It won't affect your overall score. It has no bearing on the international title at all, but you can actually win cash prizes through them per division. There's a winner for every category. And it's also, my director Chris-Anne and Holly have really instilled in us in saying like optionals is a really cool opportunity because it can get the jitters out, and you can have that time on stage, get comfortable, get situated. And I didn't sign up for an optional in my first year of IUM. But this year I definitely saw the value, and I was really looking forward to doing an optional competition to make, even more fun. So I'm looking forward to doing spokesmodel and showing off my speaking skills, hopefully, who knows, maybe bringing home the international spokesmodel title.
That would be amazing. I know you've already been best in interview in certain pageants, so
Yeah.
I mean, you already have that under your belt. You're an amazing guest. I can't see you not doing great in those components.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's fun work. Like, I know preparing for a pageant can be stressful, but it's like writing these speeches and like picturing yourself on the stage, the lights and the cute outfits. It's just, you can't help but get excited. So I'm really looking forward to the optional competitions and the required competitions.
I'm excited for you. I've seen a sneak peek of your evening gowns, so
Yes.
I just hope
my
things
goodness.
open up soon so that we could all go and do our pageants.
I just want to release that to the world. I want to show my evening gown. I'm so excited about my evening gown. There's actually a really fun story that I have behind that gown, and even in my high fashion runway as well. So, which high fashion runway? I don't know if I explained it, but it's the same as fashion wear or fun fashion, just different names. So, I'm really looking forward to that.
You always have such a great wardrobe.
Thank you.
Do you have like a sponsor, or are you just great at finding amazing steals?
Yeah, so like what I mentioned, one of my tips is like really hunt around because you never know what you might find. I've been very lucky to work with my local dress boutique, Elizabeth Noel. They have been so helpful and so kind to me over the years by giving me, a few discounts here and there and really pushing to get me those extra fun pieces from different designers. But we're all on a budget, so I definitely find things on the internet. I really think the wardrobe is super important, and it was something that I was definitely lacking within my first couple competitions. And like I mentioned, through the growth and like what I've learned from the other girls is like just learning pageant style. I wouldn't consider myself a super fashionable person, but when it comes to pageants, I know the vision. I know what I want to look like. I know what my color story is going to be. I know, when someone sees me, they're going to be like, that's a polished look for whatever competition it is. Mm-hmm. And whatever it may cost, you never know. But you have to hunt around, and I've been lucky to do that, and also have help from other people. So wardrobes are really important to me, though. So I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
No, I love it. I loved your swimwear. I loved your evening gown for both nationals and internationals. Your fashion wear, even your outfits for interviews. It's just so like you pick, like you said, the color story, everything. It just all works out so great for you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that because all us pageant girls spend a lot of time thinking about that, and there's a lot of thought behind, every detail, every earring, every shoe, and it's really important, especially to me. So, yeah, I'm glad that translates.
I mean, you just said shoes are important, but you forgot your shoes one time.
I mean, they were packed. They were packed at the front door. They just didn't make it into the car.
Oh no.
But yeah, no, my dad came to the rescue and brought them, so it was okay.
There you go. As long as you have your dad or your sister there, it seems like you have a whole village or the monarchy.
So. Yes, for sure. I couldn't do it without them. I like to consider myself a very independent person. Like, I will always be the first one to start things, and I'll be like, I'm signing up for this pageant. I'll already be signed up before I even tell my mom, and she'll be like, oh, I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll see you in New Jersey this summer. Book it off. But yeah, they're very supportive, and they've seen how valuable it's been to me and all the really cool opportunities I've gotten from it. So they've been very supportive, and I really appreciate that.
They are. They're so supportive. had the chance to meet your mom, and she's just so
Yeah.
sweet. And when you
Oh
talk
my
about
gosh,
how
yeah.
supportive she is, I definitely see that when just hearing how she is with you. And I know when I first met her, it was right after nationals for your win, and
Yes.
just talking to your mom. She's so genuine and so sweet.
Oh, she's so not a pageant mom. Like realistically,
Not wait,
she
she
should.
might be. She's just not what you
She
see on
might be.
TLC, Toddler and Tiaras. Yeah.
Right. She's very supportive, but she'll never be the one like, how's your evening walk? Like we're gonna check that. Like she'll just show up to the pageant and she'll cheer on and take the photos and be really excited to be there. But it's me doing making sure everything is done at the end of the day. But I appreciate her nonetheless.
I'm sure she's always wondering, I wonder what Elizabeth is going to do today.
Probably. I always do something crazy, so she just kind of lets me roll with the punches, and she just helps me along the way.
And you've taken on so many different things in your life. Have you ever done
Yeah.
a mandatory talent? And if you have, what was it?
No, I have never participated in a mandatory talent. I would be very, very nervous to do that if I ended up in a position where I had to.
But what would you pick?
See, I can't, like I mentioned, I can't sing as much as I try. I really can't dance. So me and my sister talk about this all the time, but I would definitely do stand-up comedy.
Oh.
And I would write a little, because I feel like I'd be able to deliver that, but that would be pretty much it. I know a lot of people do like monologues and stuff like that, but I feel like stand-up comedy might stand out.
But then what if they don't laugh?
Then I would have to.
That's the joke.
I would have to leave the hotel, leave the city, and crawl into bed. No, I'm kidding. But no, I wouldn't apply for a pageant that would have a mandatory talent portion if I could avoid it. So
that's right. I thought you were gonna say you would go out there and start painting dolls and freak people out.
It's a good suggestion. I could do that too. Who knows?
They scare the judges. Be like, if you don't let me win, this is what you're gonna look like.
You never know. A little bit more blush on the cheeks. Yeah.
Maybe a little darker eye. No, I'm just kidding. Whoops.
Whatever. It's okay. Yeah. Talent. Yeah, talent is definitely a skill that I appreciate with the pageant girls. If you can do that and you've competed in talent, props to you. That's amazing.
You know who has a great talent?
Who?
Cindy.
Oh, I've seen it. With all my stalking. I found that. Oh, I do love the talent that she performs.
Okay, so you just said it. You just said that you're a pageant stalker. Okay, so people are probably wondering, what the heck are these two talking about? So can you explain how pageant stalker came to life?
Sure. So like I said, I learn a lot through others, from watching others, from getting inspiration from others.
Mm-hmm.
So I love pageants so much that I will watch pretty much every pageant in its full length, and I'll remember girls who stood out to me. Mm-hmm. And I'll follow them on Instagram, and or if I'm competing in a pageant, I'll look the girl up, not to like compare myself, but just to see where has she been, where has she competed, just to get to a little bit to know her, so that when I get to the competition, I can be like, hey, and you can skip the awkwardness, right? But the pageant stalker, I feel like it has a negative connotation, but it really is like a positive thing. For example, I'll use you as an example. I went to one of my appearances with Regine back in 2019. We were both competing for the Canada Galaxy title. And I saw Regine in the bathroom because we were waiting, and she was judging, and I was doing crowning or something. I was like, oh my gosh. I turned to my sister. I'm like, it's Regine from Miss Universe Canada that year.
Wow.
Because I remembered you, because I would watch it all the time. And I remember you stood out as a performer to me, and I remembered your name. So I just feel like all pageant title holders are such celebrities in my eyes, and I'm just such a fangirl of everybody, and I love meeting the girls. So if you're a pageant girl in Canada and you ever meet me in person, I probably know a little too much about you, and I do apologize in advance. But it's not a negative thing. It's because I'm admiring you, not trying to scare you.
Well, that's why I wanted to clarify what we meant by pageant stalker. But
Thank you for letting me clarify.
No. But Stephanie actually just commented. She says, LOL, I feel you with the pageant stalking. But she has a question. She says, who has stood out to you when watching pageants or contestants in general?
Who or what?
Who?
Who? Oh my goodness. Oh, I mean,
You gotta say Stephanie because she's watching.
100% Stephanie. She is a big standout. No.
Oh.
But she is. She is. But I feel like I watch a lot of, like I've mentioned like 9 billion times this interview, like the multi-level scholarship style pageants. If I see someone compete at one pageant one year and I see him compete at a different system the next year, I'll be like, oh yeah, that girl's from such and such pageant and she wore this dress. And like, I just have a really strange memory. I don't really have a good memory in terms of like just generic regular things, but when it comes to like pageant contestants, I really remember people's faces. And so if I see them consistently competing at pageants or like in Miss Universe Canada, if someone comes back a few times, I'll definitely go online, check them out, see, you know, what they're up to, why they're competing again, and what's motivated them, just to kind of like motivate myself as well, because I compete in various systems every year as well. And so, like in terms of people, I don't know.
I mean, you're also staff, so can you even say it on air? Maybe not.
No. I mean, I watched like Camila Gonzalez. Like she was someone, for example, that I really watched and I really was inspired by her journey and her competition.
I wanted to come back.
Canada. I would love to see it. So like people like that are people who I would pageant stalk. But it's people that motivate me and inspire me. And that's a lot of people, especially in the Canadian pageant industry. So yeah, if you've competed at least in 2 pageants in Canada, I definitely know who you are.
That's not scary at all. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I promise.
But that's also,
I don't know where you live.
But that's also, yeah, you do. No, but you also that's also how you found Canada Galaxy, right? Through Cindy.
Exactly. So it's kind of a funny story. I was a Big Brother fan. So I was just following Cindy just because she was a host, I guess. But I remember going on Instagram one day in math class in high school, seeing that she'd posted that she got Canada Galaxy and it's coming to it, and because I had seen her compete in various systems before and also on TV, I was like, I feel like I can trust her and that I have like even like a relationship with her, even though she has literally no clue who I am at that point. That I feel like I could do her pageant and feel like it was the right fit for me. Same with like people that, you know, I've looked up and watched compete and been inspired by the way they compete and do social media and all that jazz. I feel more comfortable like reaching out to them virtually through social media to get maybe inspiration, maybe get some advice. If they've competed in a pageant that I'm looking forward or potentially wanting to compete in, maybe I could reach out to them and see how their experience was. So it's all about like, as much as it sounds scary, it's really more networking and knowing people and following people and seeing their journey and learning from them, not stealing what they're doing, but more so taking it in and making it my own.
Perfect.
And so that's why I watch so many pageants, and that's why I'm like such a big fan of so many pageant title holders.
That's amazing. Stephanie has a follow-up question. She says, okay, she says, I get it. But what makes a contestant stand out to you?
That's a really good question, actually. I think someone, like I mentioned with like wardrobe, I think someone who has a really consistent wardrobe really always stands out to me, because I was like, oh wow, I love that dress. And then I look through, wow, her interview outfit was really polished and put together. I would love to see something like that on me, like something in similar style. And then I love like hearing what they have to say with their platform. It's kind of like a chain reaction. Like one thing could stand out to me, like their wardrobe or their walk or like a video they post on social media and them speaking. And from there, I'll go further in if I see even more that I like. So it's not necessarily one specific thing that intrigues me about a delegate, but they usually excel in like one area, at least that like visually I can see from the outside, and something that maybe I'm lacking in and that I would like to improve within my own pageant journey and my own pageant career. And those are the people that I like to follow. I like to say follow, not stalk, but yes.
So she's a pageant follower.
Follower.
There you go.
Yes, thank you.
No, thank you. So Liz, we are starting to wrap things up. So if people did want to follow you, not stalk you, but wanted to follow you on social media, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on IUM Canada Miss Instagram. My personal is liz.marnoch if you want to follow that as well. I'd be happy to have you on there. And then my Facebook is just Elizabeth Marnoch. So reach out to me. Honestly, feel free to reach out at any point if you're at any level of pageantry, whether you're beginning or you're a seasoned pro. I love chatting pageants with any person from any system. So feel free.
That is true. You do. So thank you, Liz, so much for being a guest. I know it was super last minute, but I'm just, again, so grateful to have you. It's so fun having you from behind the scenes now onto the camera. So again, thank you so much for everything that you've done, not just for myself, but also for Pageant Sit Down. I know you were a long follower and fan of the Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown. So yes. I'm sorry, Scott, I converted her. She's mine now. You just lost a follower. But no, really, thank you so much. I am looking so forward to seeing you compete in the summer. Hopefully, you will be, not hopefully, I know you will be bringing home the crown, and just to continue to see you on your pageant journey. This is your first time in a Ms. division, and I can't wait to see where you go from there.
Thank you so much, Regine, for having me on and for being such a great friend and mentor to me. So I'm thrilled to be here today, and I look forward to chatting with you more, of course, like we always do.
I'll text you later. I mean, this isn't the end of our conversation, but
we'll talk later.
This is the end of our conversation here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again, Elizabeth. Thank you to all of you who tuned in. There's so many of you who are in the chat. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your comments. I'm looking forward to seeing you all our next episode on Wednesday. I'm really excited for you all to meet our guest. And in the meantime, please stay safe. If you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.